I still remember the day they looked me in the eyes and called me worthless. My own family. The courtroom was cold, the lights too bright, and my twin sister sat there crying those perfect fake tears she'd practiced since we were children. My mother's hand gripped my arm so tight I could feel her nails digging into my skin. "Do this for your sister," she whispered. "She's the one with the future. You're just like a spare. You've always been the strong one." Strong, that's what they called it when they wanted me to bleed for them. I was 22. We were identical on the outside, but inside, I was the one who studied late into the night, while she bullied the quiet kids at school. I was the one who dreamed of becoming someone. She was the one who partied, lied, and broke every rule. But that day, the rules didn't matter. My brother stood behind them, his eyes burning with hatred as he stared at me. No love, no pity, just pure disgust. "Stop crying," he hissed under his breath. "You owe us this." My tears wouldn't stop. I begged them. I told the truth. But when the judge asked if I was guilty, my voice broke. I said yes, because they promised they'd visit, because they swore it would only be a few months, because I still believed, somewhere deep inside, that family meant something. They sentenced me to 5 years. The handcuffs were cold. The prison doors slammed behind me like the final sound of my heart breaking into pieces. I turned around one last time, hoping, just hoping someone would look back with regret. But they were already walking away. Not one of them looked back. Not my mother, not my father, not my brother, not even my twin, the girl whose life I had just traded for mine. For 5 long years, the only visitor I ever had was my Uncle Matthew. He would sit across from me, eyes full of quiet pain, and say, "I know it wasn't you, child. I've watched you both since you were little. You were always the one with the kind heart and the sharp mind. She was the storm. They chose the storm over the light." He kept telling me not to let their darkness put out my fire. He brought me books. He reminded me I was still worthy. And in that cold, lonely place, his words were the only warmth I had left. I survived, not because I was strong, but because I refused to die as the girl they threw away. 5 years, no letters, no calls, not even a single "how are you?" On my birthday, the silence carved deeper wounds than any prison guard ever could. Every night I lay on that hard bed wondering why my own blood saw me as trash. Why my twin sister could destroy lives and still be protected, while I was sacrificed without hesitation. When I finally walked out those gates, Uncle Matthew was waiting. No one else. He hugged me like I was his own daughter and said, "You don't have to go back there. Come with me. Finish your studies. Build the life they tried to steal." I never went home. I studied like a woman possessed. I graduated with honors. And then I did something none of them could ever imagine. I joined the army. I wanted discipline. I wanted purpose. I wanted to become someone they could never break again. For 3 years I trained, I served. I grew into a woman who carried her pain like armor. Then came the holiday leave. I decided to surprise Uncle Matthew. I hadn't seen him in months. I wore my uniform proudly, my hair pulled back neatly, my heart finally feeling some peace. But when I walked into his living room, they were all there, my entire family. My mother's face lit up with fake joy. "Oh my God, we've been looking for you everywhere," she cried, rushing toward me. My father nodded, smiling like we were in some happy reunion movie. My brother shifted uncomfortably, and my twin sister, she just stared at me with those same calculating eyes I remembered from childhood. They hugged me. They told me how much they missed me, how they regretted everything. But I remembered my mother on her knees begging me to take the blame. I remembered my brother's hateful glare in court. I remembered my sister whispering, "You're my duplicate anyway. It's not like you had a real life." And now they needed me again. My sister had taken a massive loan from dangerous people, mafia-connected lenders. She'd gambled it away, lived lavishly, and now they were coming for her. The threats were real. The family was terrified. So they did what they always did. They looked at me like I was a tool, a spare part, a shadow of my sister they could throw into the fire once more. "Sweetheart," my mother said softly, touching my cheek. You've always been the brave one. Just help her this one time. We're family. I smiled, a slow, calm smile. Sure, I said. I'm ready to take her place. For 2 weeks I stayed in that house. The same house that once threw me away. Nothing had changed. They pampered my sister, praised her, protected her. They treated me with the same cold indifference they always had, except when they needed something. The love was reserved for her, the hate that was still mine. But this time, I wasn't broken. I was watching, I was listening, and I was collecting every single piece of evidence, not just about the new loan, but about years of fraud, threats, and crimes they thought no one knew about. The court date came. I walked in wearing my full army uniform. The medals on my chest caught the light. My posture was straight, my eyes clear. The entire courtroom went silent as I stepped forward. My family turned. My mother's face drained of color. My father looked like he'd seen a ghost. My brother's eyes widened. He sensed it. He knew something was terribly wrong, but it was far too late. My twin sister sat there expecting me to take the fall again. Instead, I handed the judge the folder I had prepared. Every transaction, every threat, every lie they had ever told, including the case from 5 years ago. I had spent those 2 weeks building an unbreakable case, not just for her new crimes, but for everything. The courtroom filled with gasps as the evidence unfolded. They tried to speak. They tried to blame me again. But this time, the truth had a voice. My voice, strong, clear, unbreakable. One by one, they were taken away. My mother, my father, my brother still staring at me with that same hatred, only now it was mixed with fear. And my twin sister, the girl I had once protected with my entire life, looked at me like I had betrayed her. They went to the same prison I once rotted in, the same cold walls, the same slammed doors. I stood outside that courtroom and breathed in the fresh air. Uncle Matthew was waiting for me, tears in his eyes, pride on his face. He pulled me into his arms and whispered, "You did it, my girl. You finally chose yourself." I didn't feel joy in their pain. I felt something deeper, release, because the girl they threw away had risen. The spare had become the one who could not be replaced. The trash had turned into a woman in uniform, a woman of honor, a woman who refused to let their betrayal define her ending. If there's one thing I want you to remember from my story, it's this. Family is not blood. Family is who stands by you when the world tries to break you. Never let anyone, not even the people who share your face, convince you that you are disposable. Your worth is not a sacrifice for someone else's mistakes. Protect your heart, build your strength, and when they come back asking you to burn again, make sure the only thing that burns is their lies. I'm finally free, and I hope, wherever you are, you find the courage to choose yourself too.